Right, so this is maybe episode one of a podcast. You know, they always say the first episode of any podcast is the worst. So I thought, let me get it out of the way. I've got no sort of introduction. I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know if this even classes as a podcast, but I'm going to start one anyway because, you know, I don't know, sudden urge. I've had a sudden urge in life to just pick up a mic, press record on my iPhone and just start recording and making videos of me talking. I'm not too sure who I think I am or why, but here we are, episode one, you can call it that. I need to think of a name, but forget the name for now. Let's just talk about the reason why I'm here. So if you're new on this channel, in fact, you know what, if you recognize me, if you recognize this channel, you may remember a couple of years ago, in fact probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was quite active on YouTube. I used to make vlogs of me in Pakistan, vlogs of me in Turkey, in Morocco. I've got a couple of vlogs on my YouTube with my friends and my family. You know, at the time, 4 years ago, my channel was kind of active. You know, people were kind of excited. Well, when I say people, I see my friends, I say my family, people who are close to me. I wasn't we weren't big or anything, basically. At all, at all. We weren't big at all, but we were something. We were growing and we decided to stop. We've got loads of funny challenges and all sorts of funny videos on my channel. You can go check them out if you want. I've been inactive on YouTube for years now. Not sure why we stopped, but we did. And you know, with life, people, you know, we do things, then we get inconsistent, and maybe it's one of them moments we just stopped. So I'm here now. 2 minutes into a new video, you're probably thinking, you know, well, if you're watching, there's probably about 3 people watching, mom, dad, brother. But yeah, I'm making a podcast for myself to talk to the camera, almost like a video diary. Not too sure why. Family and friends will probably find this cringe. If you're watching, I don't care, to be honest. You know me, you guys know me, man. I'll do what I want, I'll say what I want, I'll try anything I want, and I'm a bit of a weirdo, I'll be honest with you. I try weird different things all the time, and yeah. Now you've got me on a mic and on a camera, you're gonna think this guy's fully lost the plot. He's going through a midlife crisis, and to be quite frank and quite honest with you, the answer is yes. The reason why I'm starting this is possibly due to a midlife crisis, because I've realized a lot of things in this past year. So I want to kick off this episode 1, explaining why I'm starting a podcast, what's motivated me, what the topics will be of this podcast, things like that. Basically like an introduction. Episode 1. Welcome to the Mountain Path podcast. When I say the mountain path, yes, I mean the path to the mountain. We start from the bottom, we get to the top, and what we're looking for at the top, that's the whole topic of this podcast, is to find the end goal. And the end goal is simply, utterly, and nothing else but knowledge. And I'll get to why I said knowledge and what kind of knowledge I'm talking about. So let's begin. The reason I'm making this podcast in 2023, which is the current year that we're in, I have had some sort of midlife, I don't want to call it crisis, but I've had some sort of realization, understanding, and a lot of perspectives of life has changed. And for some reason, since Ramadan, I started to delve in research, constant research about Islam, non-stop. I think from Ramadan up till today, I've been researching up and down so many things, different topics such as jurisprudence, such as theology, and so many things about Islam. I've looked at different scholarly thoughts and opinions and so many hadiths and stories, and it's just blown me away how much I didn't know and how much I've started to know and how much is yet to come. one thing I will say for sure is learning Islam or learning more about your deen, seeking knowledge, is a rigorous path. It is the mountain path, which is why this podcast is called The Mountain Path. There are stones and boulders along the way that you got to shove aside. You got to keep your ego in check. You got to really, really correct yourself as a person. And one of the main attractions to me, you know, everyone has their own paths in life. Paths the word? Everyone has their own path in life. I think that's better English. Wow. Anyway, and the path that has kind of been calling upon me is the path of Tassawuf. Tassawuf is, if you want to call it Sufism, you call it Sufism, but Tassawuf is essentially the purification of the heart. And this whole science of Islam has really attracted me because it is the path that makes someone strive to correct themselves, correct their character from spiritual diseases such as envy, jealousy, greed, harsh words and looking down on people. It really, really is the path to destroy your ego. It is the path. And you know, there's a lot of scholars that I've been watching who are probably, you could say, on that path, or you know, at least follow the path or talk about that path, and it's really inspired me. And since Ramadan, I've been learning, I've been trying to correct myself, and then you come to a realization, and you have kind of this moment in your head where you think, wow, how out of touch am I with the reality? You really, really do. When you really understand this science, you really look at yourself in the mirror and you think, you know, you're disgusted with yourself. You really, truly are disgusted. There are so many things from the moment we wake till the moment we sleep that we do, that we pay no attention to whatsoever, but it is causing our hearts to harden and blacken. And is blacken a word? Blacken is a word. I'm pretty sure blacken is a word. It is. Anyway, you know, there are so many things we go throughout the day that really do affect our hearts and our soul and our minds, and we really are oblivious to it. And I've been oblivious for 26 years. Alhamdulillah, I'm 26 years old. You know, a lot of things have changed in my life recently. You know, I've become a father as well, just to let you guys know. Alhamdulillah, my boy is nearly 7 weeks old already. And you know, part of the reason I'm making this video podcast for the whole public to see, I mean, you know, I might get 10 views, I might get 1 million views, we don't know, Allah knows. But I don't care about the views. Genuinely, people say that in a cliche, cheesy way, we don't care about views. Genuinely, you know, Allah knows my heart. Genuinely, I couldn't care less. This is simply and utterly a video diary for me to go onto YouTube. I mean, you can say, why not put it on private then? Why you got to make it public? Well, you know, it's good to get people involved. I want to make it public, you know, because I want to get guests on. I want to talk. I want to really talk to people and start to understand everyone's motives in life and everyone's thoughts and theories and what kind of path they follow. Like, I want this to be a bit of a community thing. So it's just what I want to do. You know, I'm a dad. I'm a whole ass dad, so I can do what I want anyway. And a lot of families and friends and in-laws and whatever will find this cringe or whatever. But, you know, this is me, man. This is Hamza. This is who I am. I'm a talker. I talk the talk. I don't really walk the walk, but you know, I've got the tripod out. I've got the lighting. I've got a little light thing above the camera. I've got the mic in my hand, and we're here. So you know, let's see how long it lasts. This is episode 1, like I said, just a little introduction. I've not even told you my name yet, but forget it. My name's Hamza. Anyway, born and bred Sheffield, Yorkshire lad. That's all you need to know. Manchester United fan. Let's not go there because you know we're not very good at the moment at all. But anyway, there's a certain time you grow up, and I think I've hit that age, and it's something about age is just a number. You know, people hit this realization very early, and they're blessed people. But alhamdulillah, I feel like I have realized the true purpose of life. Not to say I've accomplished it, or not to say I'm some sort of, you know, saint overnight. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, alhamdulillah, I have had an awareness and a realization and a shock, and I have finally come to terms with the fact that the way we live, the way we talk, our mannerisms, our adab, our respect is disgusting. It's plain disgusting, and society is filled with it. You go wherever you go, there are it's chaos. It's absolute chaos out there. Not to sound like a granddad, I'm talking like I'm 50 years old. You know, you might find me boring, and you can switch off. I mean, maybe right now I'm talking to myself, because by now it's like 10 minutes in and no one knows who I am, so it could be boring for you now, but this is it. I told you, this whole the whole purpose behind this is, it's like a video diary for myself. I want to look back in 10 years time, inshallah, if I'm around, and see my progression. Not to say I'm on some divine path that I know for certain I'm going to improve. I could get worse and worse and worse. This is, Allah knows best. My intentions are clean, but Allah knows best, and Allah has a plan and a path for everyone. But my full intention is to improve my character, improve my knowledge, and seek knowledge. And that's why I'm doing this. I want my son, who was born 7 weeks ago, I want my son to one day grow up and look at his dad on camera at the age of 26, so he can look back and see what mentality and what kind of path his dad was going through at this age, so he can maybe not find inspiration, but at least look and think, wow, my dad, man, like, what is he talking about? Like, I wonder what drove him to do that. Because, you know, this day and age, we're blessed with cameras. I can just press the camera and, you know, there we go. I can show my son so many videos of him right now. Like, I've got so many videos of my son on my phone and pictures, and he can see that. But the pictures that my mum and my dad have of me are on like little, you know, little photograph kind of cards and little photo books. Society's changed, and it will continue to change. One thing I will tell you right now, this podcast is hosted by myself, and I have got 1 ounce worth of knowledge. I've got no knowledge. That is what I want you to know. So normally you see podcasts and the host is normally an expert in the field he talks about, and I'm telling you right now openly, I am a novice in Islam, in theology, in fiqh, jurisprudence, in aqidah, which is theology, in anything. In Arabic, I can't speak Arabic at all. So I'm an absolute novice, and that's what's unique about this podcast, is because we're learning together. I'm going to learn, and you're going to learn with me, whether you like it or not. We're going to read books on this podcast. We've got The Heirs of the Prophets by Imam Zaid Shakir, who is the co-founder of Zaytuna College, alongside Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. And let me tell you one thing, anyone, including myself, and I've done it many times, trust me, many times, anyone who wants to debate about topics such as, well, theological topics and fiqh topics and things like that without even having an ounce of knowledge, then we are in absolute disarray. This is how society and communities are destroyed, and this is how they have been destroyed. This is the problem with society, and the main thing with society right now is people with zero knowledge, people with absolutely no idea about anything talk like they do, and then that person will tell another person something without any knowledge, and then before you know it, something is spreading and snowballing, and this thing started with zero knowledge, and now we've got a full room of people with no knowledge who are completely arrogant and will have closed-minded brains and closed hearts and will not hear anything, and people who are not willing to learn from an actual teacher. So this is the society is messed up. It's absolutely messed up, and you know, I'm just trying to learn, and this is why I've also joined Micro Madrasa at Mustafa Mount in Bradford. Alhamdulillah, I'm going to be taught by Sheikh Ibrahim Asifa. I don't know if you know him, but he is a brilliant scholar, a well-renowned scholar. He studied alongside Hamza Yusuf, I'm pretty sure, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf in Mauritania, also Sheikh Burhan, Sheikh Harun. These are some great scholars, you know, and I feel blessed to be learning from actual scholars. You know, when you sit with the scholars, there's a different kind of aura, there's a different kind of feeling. You know, I can't go onto Google, Sheikh Google. I mean, you know, Sheikh Google has many murids. One thing I'll tell you, don't be a murid or a follower of Sheikh Google or Sheikh YouTube, because these two are very deviant groups. I'll tell you now, Google and YouTube, any Tom, Dick and Harry can write something on an article, and they can misguide a whole nation. You know, you have to be careful. You need to be wary. it's good to follow teachers. So I thought, you know what, I think it's time I follow a teacher, and that's why I've joined it. So inshallah, every Sunday I'll be traveling to Bradford from 9 to about 3 p.m. and I'll be learning things like theology, fiqh, spirituality, all these great sciences of Islam. And I'm so excited. I went last week for the induction and it was amazing. It was beautiful. Honestly, wow, I can't wait. There's going to be a retreat and a sanctuary in December where we will stay overnight on site for 5 days. So I can only imagine the things we get up to and the topics and all the brothers there. Last week, it was humbling. It was amazing. And I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for Sunday, which is in 2 days time. Today is, well, Friday technically. It's almost 12 o'clock at night. So it'll be Friday, Jum'ah, and then Saturday, and then Sunday I'll be on the way to Bradford to Micro Madrasa to learn under Sheikh Ibrahim and co. Everything I do today will shape that boy's future tomorrow. I mean, so this is me confessing right now to my son, who is on the way to Birmingham as we speak, to his nani's house, his nana's house, his mamu's, with his mum. They're on the way to Birmingham. I'm sat here alone in Sheffield. So I've been meaning to make this video for a week, but I've not had a chance because when a baby's here, when you're married life, after work, you know, things are busy, man. Things are very busy, and I finally got a chance. So here we are. So to my son, right now you're on the way to Birmingham. You're 7 weeks old, mate, and when you watch this, you'll probably be about, I don't know, in years and years to come. So I want you to know that you're currently on the way to Birmingham, just to let you know. Anyway, and one more thing, a special honor, special mention to Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, who will never watch this video, but that man changed my life. He changed my perception of life. He really made my 2023 what it is, because in 2023, this year has been the year where I've started my actual in-depth research of Islam, and it's all down to that man. I've been watching him, I've been listening to his podcasts, and I think I've listened to the same podcast of him about 10 times now. And I'm talking about different podcasts. So I've heard all his podcasts, and each one about 10 times. So some of them, I actually know them by heart. I know what he's going to say next. Alhamdulillah. You know, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, I mean, it's an honor to share the same name. That's one thing. Number two, I mean, he's an ocean of knowledge. And the guy, I mean, the way he speaks, the traditional Islam that he tries to remind us of who we are. There was a golden era of Islam, and you know, no one can snatch that from us. And people try these days. There's groups who try, and people try, and scholars even try, and they try to diminish a whole history. Well, you know, the paper's there, the history's there, and you can't be removed. So, you know, and Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, the way he talks about spirituality, the way he talks about Tassawuf, correcting yourself, and even Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad is another one who's inspired me. These people, these scholars, these are absolutely unbelievable scholars. And you know, this book here, The Heirs of the Prophets, this book is all about the scholars. Who are the heirs of the prophets? It's the scholars. And you know, we're going to go through this book, inshallah. I'm going to go through this book and I'm going to talk to you about some things that I find, you know, inshallah. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that. I've read it before. I've read the book. I'm going to reread it again. Something else Hamza Yusuf said is always reread books, even though that's very hard to do because people just want to get them out of the way. But Hamza Yusuf said reread books because that's when you really start to get an understanding. Episode 1 of The Mountain Path. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And let's see what happens in the future. Thank you.